Talking with Words.
Welcome back to Talking with Words. You're here with Rob.
James?
There we go.
And Ryan.
And we just watched Terrifier 3, which was released last Friday. What's today?
Tuesday.
A few days ago. If you don't know about these movies,
Really good.
You're missing out on life.
holy shit.
What wasn't rated severe in this show?
Nudity.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking was mild. That was it. Everything else.
Sex and nudity was moderate.
There you go. Moderate.
That's subjective.
If nothing else, these guys are known for moderation. So if you don't know about the Terrifier series, it stars Art the Clown. Go back and listen to the first two pods. We talk in depth about the first two films in which he massacres everyone. This is a blood orgy.
Indeed.
It's a spotlight to practical effects from back in the 80s and 90s, and they push it as far as they possibly can without being an X-rated film, which is where the nudity comes in. Moderation. So Terrifier 3 is described as Art the Clown is set to unleash chaos on the unsuspecting residents of Miles County as they peacefully drift off to sleep on Christmas Eve.
So let's talk about the opening scene. First off,
Spoilers out the ass.
yeah. So I'm a little fuzzy on 2 after watching 3, but the opening sequence was not related to anything in 2, was it?
No.
Exactly. Okay. Because I kept trying to figure out how the kids in the first one were going to be shown in the present day. Because there was they did this sort of time shifts, it's like backwards, forwards,
Yeah.
present day. They did all that, so I thought maybe I was getting confused. But that was just an offshoot of the whole story, just a way to intro it.
I thought they were going to do something with it. Do some sort of time movement or something, but nope.
He's just back in a Santa suit.
When you run into Santa, you got to pay homage.
Yeah. It is a Christmas movie. I appreciate that.
So, before we get into this, what we perceive the story to be, because there's a lot of exposition in this movie, because there was none in the first two, and we get explained to a lot of what they're basing Art on, and his, I guess, witch friend now, whatever we want to call her.
She's
I think they called her the witch.
demon.
She was his
demon.
anchor, right? Somehow?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's talk about how many people were in this movie. I know, Ryan, you probably saw a lot of the ones I caught as far as cameos and bit pieces. Just right off the top of my head, Tom Savini.
I was going to say Tom
Of
Savini
course.
is the crazy guy in the mall.
Daniel Roebuck, who we talk about from a lot of stuff, was Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Clint Howard was the bum, whatever he was, hanging out at the bar with Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, who else? Let me look through
The bartender looked familiar.
I feel like the bartender was one of the guys from Perfect Storm.
Bradley Stryker. Been in a lot of stuff. Chris Jericho, again. He just had to come back for just a little while. Jason Patrick. Yeah, that was Jason Patrick. Jesus. The dad.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that looks so much like Jason Patrick, but he was like heavier
Yeah.
and hair was silver,
Mm-hmm.
playing a father in a flashback.
And some
yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
ornament.
Yeah. So that was cool. A lot of cameos. But to address the question of Terrifier 2, for those who are in James's situation, they don't really remember. In 2, Art targets Sienna like Michael Myers targets
Laurie Strode.
Laurie. Jesus Christ, Rob. I'm getting old.
Yeah, I was going to say,
She's been
you're,
Jamie Lee Curtis longer
you're
than she was Laurie.
almost
This is true.
40.
Barely. Don't say that shit out loud. Hate it. But in that movie, he follows her and wipes out pretty much her immediate family except for her brother before she decapitates him with a sword that is holy or has some power in it.
She got it from her dad, right?
Yeah. Who in the 3 we see some backstory on
How she got her costume for Halloween and everything else, which makes a lot more sense. There was 1 or 2 spots in there, which I know we'll get to them.
Yeah.
That just kind of threw me off. I was like,
and the last scene you see in Terrifier 2, after she decapitates him and they kind of get away, is the witch in a insane asylum where Chris Jericho works, giving birth to Art's head.
and she's what was her name? Victoria, or was Victoria the one at the dinner table?
I can't keep them straight in my head.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look, but she's one of the victims from Terrifier 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the original.
I remember that.
In the opening of Terrifier 1, she is in a interview as a victim of Art.
Right. And at the close of Terrifier 1, we realize she's more.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of Terrifier 1, you get some supernatural elements that they go into way deeper in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole first movie, it was left up. It was easily possibly just some crazy serial killer until the very end when they open that up and, laid the foundation for the sequels.
Yeah.
But then again, they left the first one open with not a whole, not knowing how well it would do.
Oh, yeah. This was no budget.
Like, hey, we'll leave this door just cracked open enough.
And it worked.
If it works out, because I feel, like you said, a lot of the backstory and everything.
Well, didn't the garbage sack make it more of a comeback in 3 than it was in 2? I don't remember the garbage sack that much in 2.
It's always been
a big
part,
but
because he in the horror, the Halloween store, he's got it, and we're like, oh, he's gonna take something out, and he just pull it out like pennies, and like nails, but he's lugging it around even when the kids trick or treating. He's reaching into the sack in the second one, so it's an art staple.
It was subtle.
I love that prop keeps carrying forward though, because he needs something.
But, he swapped it into
a red one,
Santa's bag, or he painted his red, or whatever it was.
How perfect that it was always headed to be a Christmas movie with that sack. I mean,
with a sack like that.
Technically, it was always a demented Santa, wasn't he?
So if you don't want to hear anything as far as spoilers of this movie, plot-wise, don't listen anymore, because we're going to start getting into that as we go through. I want to just start going through some of the this was some of the roughest graphic violence I've seen in a while, maybe ever. They had a bigger budget, so
it's a bold statement, Con.
It looked better, or it looked more realistic.
Yeah.
It's still under that or over that line, I think I should say, because there's a point where it's so gory and bloody that you disassociate it from being a human body anymore, because what's happening to it is not obviously what a human body would do. But there's also so much of it, you get desensitized. In the very first opening section, you have a kid get dismembered in bed.
Yep.
So, yeah, this is what the movie's going to be. That's the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, I don't know if ease into it would be the right way to.
Is that what you call that?
Well,
you can't ease an axe in.
I'm gonna counter with, I laughed during it because they kept hitting him and making the squishing noise because the murder was off camera, but it just kept.
That's what I'm saying. They did the whole murder, and then they never flashed to him in the room or anything with the kid. So it's like, okay,
that was definitely a scene better left to the imagination than shown.
Right.
But they still showed the body.
But then when the mom runs in, and you see the
parts,
parts everywhere.
I'm so glad I sat next to James.
Oh, yes. So I intentionally walked in in front of James. I wanted James to be sitting between us.
I don't know what you guys heard. I mean, I was just reacting.
We could not have picked a better person to come to this
No.
film with.
I lost count of how many times you would bring your hands up and cover your face and then bring them back down like, oh, God, I'm going to have to watch it.
I thought I did really well by watching all the parts.
You did. You watched
I
it.
didn't cover up for most of it, and I was genuinely able to laugh at a few of the gory parts because I don't know why it's funny, but it was.
You were laughing.
There's no way to explain that.
You were laughing when I was laughing.
Yeah.
You've been infected.
I just remember sitting there and coming up on one of the first kill scenes, and James goes, "Oh no!"
Yeah, you said that a few times. You go, oh God! The chainsaw came out. I just heard, "Oh God!"
Well, again,
course.
some of the more over the top scenes are the ones that least affect me, and
Yeah,
I'm more
exactly.
likely to laugh and find humor in. It's the petty injuries that always bother me more. I don't
Taking
want
the
to jump
chainsaw
ahead.
to the bunghole.
That one was a tender subject for sure.
To the moon.
But no, there was a scene later with hands that we'll get to.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that one coming at all, too. So that one surprised me. So let's start with. I mean, it opens up with a slaughter in a house, and that's just make sure you guys know what you're coming to see.
The little girl wakes up thinking Santa's there, and she even gets excited because she hears something downstairs, sees Art in a Santa suit, and then total mayhem ensues.
She hides.
Tries to get her brother to get up and see Santa. He's like, "No, go away."
He even told Art go away right before the first whack.
Wouldn't have done much good, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the husband just that first axe to the stomach knocked out any chance of crying out. So the wife was just like, "Shut up, Jesus, shh."
If you're gonna do that, go in the other room.
Whoops. And they did a technique, I guess I'd call it, in that a lot in the opening scene where they would put like the axe would hit and they'd jiggle it inside the prosthetic. I wonder if that was to get the blood to like fly. Did you notice that? Or
Yeah.
is that just me?
I bet they did multiple takes, and those are the ones they were happy with.
I'm guessing that's what did it.
Some extra sound effects there.
Yeah. And there was a lot of weird background sound in this. I think they leaned into that demon thing pretty
Yeah.
hard. Because there was even one point I was like, whose phone's on? I was like, oh, no, that's the screen going in the background. Just that demon hiss they were doing.
Yeah, there was anytime the girl spoke, there was just that like that background static.
Yeah. And then at the end, it was just when she was in the room, it was happening.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because I mean they sort of referenced it initially when they after that 5-year flashback, they get back to the house. Like when she walked in a room, like when she walked in the bathroom, lights came on.
oh, yeah, you're right. I didn't really think
And then
about that.
as all the blood drained out of her, when she slid her wrist in the tub, the light slowly dimmed and went off.
Which
and
that
when
was
when
that
the
was
guys
another one of
came back
those-
in. Yeah.
Why did we take a 5-year hiatus? To heal? Just wait it
gonna-
out?
Yeah. I'm going to assume it was partly that. You know, once they start tying it together with Sienna and her brother and all that other stuff, they start giving us some of that backstory as to why. If she was institutionalized for 5 years, I mean, given the other asylum, probably could have gotten in, but
Yeah, does that just knock them into a waiting state?
yeah, because if she was so heavily medicated in there that the good aura wasn't fighting with the bad juju,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it,
Okay, I'll give it that.
that's the closest thing to rationale I've come up with for that one.
Okay, I'll take that. Because in they
Either that or he's just playing the long con.
he definitely did that. But what we're talking about is we can all see how we understood it because it was very open-ended with apparently there's a good being or a chosen one, if you will, on Earth that is to combat the demon that takes over a corpse of a evil person and apparently makes them fairly unstoppable because even she stabbed him multiple times with the holy blade, whatever they're going to reveal that to be, and he's still...
They're just like zombies. You got to take the head off. Shoot them in the head and then burn them.
Mm-hmm.
She took the head off. There's got to be a return to hell. There's got to be a Jason take him back down kind of thing, probably. Although when they killed the chick, the witch, she just melted.
Yeah, I thought that might have done more to Art than it did based on what they were saying. If she was the vehicle that let him stay,
Right.
how, when she melted off, how is he still around?
So you have to go find a new one before he gets killed?
Well, he was heading out on a trip.
He was looking at a chick reading a book about
Well,
hell.
I mean, that,
Although
yeah.
maybe a bus is technically an annex to hell.
It's possible.
Quite possible. Have you ever been on a bus?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, it tried to get Gabby, the kid, because as I said, the demon kind of oozed out with the blood or whatever, and then it was kind of surrounding her. It started sizzling, and then it pulled the whole floor out from under. Took the mom, which didn't matter anymore. But
well, from the minute that she got out of the insane asylum for Christmas, you just knew Gabby was going down because she was just like the happiest, perkiest person in the whole movie.
Well,
the most innocent, except she reads diaries and unwraps presents.
Yeah. Let's touch on that real quick. Because when she's in that dream flashback, whatever, with her father, and they're talking, or no, I think she was talking to the brother, and the brother was kind of trying to explain it in the letters, and she was kind of regurgitating what had been in the letters about, good versus evil. That's, that's why you were able to at least temporarily stop him or whatever.
Right.
Or he was under the impression she did stop him. But it's got to have a bad person to infect. And while Gabby was young and the innocent cousin, she did have a problem with breaking promises and reading diaries and snooping around and lots of little stuff. So
minor sins.
Is the small child really that good?
Which I was wondering if Sienna was going to pass it down to her at the end of that bloodline, because her father gave it to her. Would she have to give it to another blood relative or pass it down? That seemed like the logical next step, which they might pull the rug out just because it seems like the logical next step.
Yeah.
Well, they made a big deal of Gabby noticing her scars on her face and thinking, oh, they're cool. But I did notice by the end of the movie, Gabby had her own scars.
Oh, yeah.
Same place, right there in the face.
And emotionally.
Ah, well, those never show.
Sienna's dad also had scars on his face.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that.
So that might be like the mark. Might be what they're doing with that.
The mark of the chosen one.
Which they leaned really big into the Christianity mythos with the barbed thorn crown.
Oh,
crown,
yeah, the
yeah.
crown of
the
thorns.
cross.
That was definitely the Christmas aspect.
Yeah. The human torso and arms that were the cross on the wall. Stuff like that. So let's go back to, this is another one of those parts I was like, well, what the fuck is this? And surprisingly, that only happened like twice. When Art's body got up without the head, that was one of those moments. And then it ripped a cop's head off and wore it around town.
After he got shot 4 times.
Yeah.
No. James has an important call.
No.
Just Alan.
Just Alan. But the body's walking out and it's going to find the head, which that was
just been birthed.
That was the end of 2. Is the witch gave birth to the head. I was like, oh, how are they going to do this? Is it just going to be a new Art that's born? Nope. It's just a head attached to a super long umbilical cord and the witch chick is just eating people to feed the head.
Yep.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it took me a second on that one.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I still want to know.
should have rewatched 1 and 2 more recently than I did.
Same.
I'm okay with
For
it, but
continuity's sake.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I had to think more than I thought I was going to have to think for this film.
I still
this
just
movie.
wonder whether this was all planned or they just found a way to connect 3 movies. It felt like maybe every time that there was another one out, they wrote their way around it.
Yeah. Oh, we could do this
to account for it. Oh, we got more funding. Let's do it.
Yeah. Which
I don't think they had it after the first one. Again, this is 100% guess, but because Damien Leone wrote and directed all 3, correct?
yes.
So, I'm guessing, I've got kind of a loose story here. We'll see how this first one plays out. And then you get greenlit for number 2.
I think
3 hadn't even come out, but there's so much around it. It's
Yeah.
I think when he was doing 2, he was like, okay, we'll plan this out for a couple more films.
And one
We can make
had
this work.
like no plot. It was
He was literally just
him going through killing a bunch of people in a building and then showing the aftermath of that killings. That
Yep.
was it.
Mm-hmm.
So when 2 were, because they had an original one before Terrifier,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and that was taken as people liked it enough that he got funding to make the full feature. So I think, after he got the funding, it was like, I made it. I made that movie I wanted to make. Then it exploded on Netflix, and it was during COVID. And then they're like, oh, shit. Okay, let's do another one.
They want more.
It's like, so now we'll make a real sequel. And that's, I think, when they were like, we might want to start writing.
Let's add a story to this one.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is that Art the Clown is such a great character. You don't need a lot of story to feature him. You could put him in a scene, and the scene will be entertaining.
Yeah, him by himself,
Yes. It's for real. Again, everything he does, it's his facial expressions are just so good for the scenes that he's in. It carries the whole thing. If there was never a supernatural plot line to keep him coming back, we'd probably still excuse it.
We just let it slide.
He's back. Do it.
The
Art.
fact that he was never a mime or anything like that, because that was one of the rumors we read
yeah. I
with
remember
the
talking
first
about that.
one, and then we read something almost immediately after. It's like, yeah, contrary to popular belief. 'Cause,
Which-
the fact that he's gone. I mean, even only Nicolas Cage made it through one film without saying anything, and he's gone through 3 films now and
Yeah.
not said a plus a nice 9 kills video and not said a damn thing.
But now this movie, I think, did depart because I got the feeling that the witchy girl was speaking for him. She was the voice of Art the Clown there at the end.
And that's
Yeah.
another one of those I want clarification on. Was it 2 demons in these people, or was it
think it
the
was
one
one.
and that
I think it was all Art,
that was the voice of Art?
and his form doesn't speak, but the people he controls do. That's his voice coming out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Oh man, that makes sense.
That's what I got every time she was talking, when she was explaining there at stuff as it was going along.
Yeah.
It's like that's Art talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the witch, or Victoria, or whatever her name was the vessel for the demon to support Art.
So was
The
that
Miles County Clown.
the Miles County Clown? So the other
Slash
question I
serial
had,
killer.
what happened to the little girl
At the beginning,
from the second one, from the
I-
second
oh.
movie?
Was that not a figment of his imagination?
It could have been, but if it was a demon thing, would it not still have bearing in this story?
I don't know that was a demon though.
Or is it just him seeing shit?
I think it was just him,
Okay.
because there were.
I guess getting your head lopped off changes your imagination.
Well, that was at the end of the second
it
one.
floors it.
Indeed.
He hadn't been killed in the first one. We just assumed he was dead.
But the little art girl was only in the second one for a little while. I don't remember how long she was in the end.
She wasn't in it very long, just like that first 20 or 30 minutes.
But I was wondering if she was going to pop back up again. But they had
I was-
another art, and it was the witch chick had kind of turned into that.
Yeah, she put all that effort into being just like him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think the little girl from number 2 was just a figment of his imagination.
Okay. I need to watch it again. And yeah, David
James,
Howard
what are you
Thornton
doing after this?
killed it.
Hopefully sleeping, maybe.
Not after that film.
Uh,
Actually, I'm going to sleep like a baby.
It's like running water and all that dripping blood.
Ugh.
So let's go through the kills, since that's what this is known for.
so was brother technically the first kill?
The little one in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then father, then
first kill in the movie,
Mother.
not in the timeline.
in the movie.
Yeah, in this movie.
And then once we get out of the opening and we're back in present day.
So did he kill the little girl?
I mean, I assume so.
Because he never even, like, it.
They never
The
said.
screen blacked out before he even picked up the hammer.
I
We
thought
don't hear, or the hatchet. We don't hear her scream. What are the chances that the skull at the end is not the brother, and that's the little girl from the first house?
Could be.
She did have a big head.
Probably about as big as that college kid's, Jonathan.
Who looked like a 12-year-old.
Yeah. The house, the mom gets it with the axe a lot.
And then the daughter sort of kind of maybe,
Yeah, that's a good point about the skull.
not determined.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, they put the glasses on there, but
Yeah.
they can get those from anywhere.
He's a big fan of glasses,
Yeah.
art.
I mean, how many people between the mall and their house could he have potentially murdered that were wearing glasses? Lots.
Yeah, tons. I also was really hoping that he was going to wrap the body parts in the beginning, like Christmas presents,
I thought he was going to string them up like lights or tinsel.
like my house.
Yeah.
James hasn't seen that yet. He'll have to go out the front door when he leaves.
Oh, yeah.
well,
That's what we did
I
after-
definitely thought when the kids were opening presents that there were going to be body parts in there. That for sure. I thought there was going to be something gross. I was not expecting what actually happened.
I wasn't either.
I sort of was. I was hoping one of the kids was going to like pull out a grenade or something like that.
I thought it was going to be like poisonous, or they were going to start cutting their hands.
Well, Art the Clown is
Nope.
famous for suddenly using manual methods
He likes
without
to
any
change-
supernatural
Yeah, he changes the script
mumbo
a
jumbo.
lot.
He's like, you know what? I'm tired. Just shoot him.
Which, and in this, he pulls out the gun, and I heard James go, "Oh, there it is,"
Yeah.
Mhm.
because that's one of those weird things that a lot of the serial killers do in these slashers. It's got to be a knife, machete, cleaver.
To me, it's as jarring as Batman pulling out a gun. You don't expect it. If it happened, you'd be like, oh wait, what's
They're not-
happening? That's new.
They're not personal enough.
Hey, you got to see the light fade out of their eyes.
Yeah.
But we also had another element that they kept for a little while, but they got rid of very quickly, was Sienna seeing shit. The conversation at the dinner table.
Oh, yeah. Her pass the rice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Her-
past
her
the rice
dead friend.
hallucination.
Screaming at her.
I mean, that could have genuinely been a hallucination, right?
Yeah. We don't know. Because they did it, and then
She's on a lot of drugs.
I think it was because she referenced that a couple times. She even tells her brother, she's like, I'm seeing shit all the time.
yeah. Well, and then
And when she sees Art in the mall,
that's what I was saying.
she tries to talk it up as a hallucination, and it's really not. Her hallucinations are, shifting back into reality. Now, the likelihood that the Clown Cafe was playing over the department store,
Not great. But
slim to none, but that
It's a
blurs.
banger.
Agreed.
Was
but-
the bar scene the next? Sorry, go ahead.
But it like having that song playing and then actually seeing him blurs the line between, did I just not take enough medication this morning and I'm starting to see things,
Right.
or are we screwed? Because
Which
Art's back.
was probably intentional,
Oh yeah,
as far as the mall art sighting.
yeah. Because even Gabby calls it out. The little cousin, she's like, "You saw something? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Did we skip over Santa at the bar?
Yes.
Yeah,
We skipped over a lot.
Okay.
We're just jumping around.
I was trying to
We
remember
were
what
talking
kills
about
really
kills.
happened next. Was Santa, was
No.
the bar really the next kill scene?
The two demolition guys.
Okay.
Because it comes back
Yeah.
to, well, no, because
they
it goes.
kept weaving that in and out. Like they.
So it goes, he kills the family. Then it goes 5 years prior. He kills the cop.
Demolition guys wake him up.
His headless body. And then he kills the wrestler.
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
In the insane asylum.
The insane asylum.
When he gets his baby head.
Yeah, when he gets his baby head back. And then, like, it shows them, they go back to that old house.
They're on the
She
subway with
slits
a
her-
guy dressed as a clown that's taking pictures of him
Oh, yeah.
because he has a great art costume.
Then they get back to the house. She slits her wrists in the tub. He sits down in the chair rocking. And then it goes back to present day, and the demolition guys show up, and those two get killed.
And they survive. Oh, no, wait.
Oh wait, no, not even a little bit.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
That guy got a nail through his hand.
And he got 2 of his fingers bitten off.
Yum. He didn't even eat them either. He just spit them out.
Well, no, they're uncooked.
I loved how
Jesus,
the
he's not a
demolition
heathen.
guys. The demolition guys were both calling out to the other one, "Help me!"
Yeah.
It's like, you're not getting help.
Yeah.
Nope. And this,
When you say, I'm going to check the basement, you go check the top floor, the likelihood that there's going to be communication after that, you guys are both screwed.
yeah, unless you got a gun, make some loud noise.
That's why in
Yeah.
a scary movie you always want to split up.
Especially
Safest thing to do.
if you're jumpy like the guy was.
You watch a lot of Scooby-Doo, don't you?
That's a whole other story.
Look, Scoob, it's Art the Clown.
Zoinks.
I'd like to see that.
Somebody's probably done it.
I'd pay for that crossover.
I really liked the FX job they did when they cut the guy's head with the box cutter
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
because they had him pinned to the floor
Peeling scalps.
and peeled. And just when you think it's kind of done, like she opens it like to the sides of his head to his ears, and you're like, okay, it kind of stopped the pressure. And she just rips it all the way off, and his jaw comes off. It's so fun.
Mm.
James is just looking disgusted over there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work for both of them.
Every one of the scenes is kind of like pushing the boundaries of like, okay, really, if you wanted to kill somebody, you wouldn't start like that.
Or
They're
would
doing
you?
it for fun, for sure.
Yeah. Ugh.
No business, all pleasure here, James.
I don't know.
Take your
Somebody,
time.
if you're not going to go for a killing blow up front, you better be really strong to hold them in place, because I don't think you could hold on to somebody and cut their scalp like that without them wriggling out or
Well, he did nail his hand to
doing
the
something.
floor.
Okay, maybe that helps. That's a mitigating circumstance.
And bit some of his other fingers off beforehand.
But yeah, and unless you're going to disable them some other way, you can't just expect them to sit there and be
Yeah.
inhumanly tortured.
But keep in mind, if the serial killer known as Art the Clown or the Miles County Killer, if he's now possessed, supported, whatever by a demon, he's got demon strength.
I would think so. It had to be very strong.
They even show examples of that throughout, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, when he wakes him up from the chair, I mean, he just straight up backhands him across the room.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Picks him up one hand, tosses him back across the room to do whatever. So it's clear he's got more strength now because he didn't really have any in the first one, and I don't even think in the second one he didn't have any like superhuman strength. It was kind of a step below Michael Myers, maybe,
So let's think about that. If the first movie,
because
he's the serial killer, and when he gets shot, the demon enters him, then.
potentially, yeah, because
Mm,
he wakes back up at the
that's
morgue,
possible.
at the city morgue.
So as this goes on, and he survives, and he is making his little acolyte, is he getting stronger as that happens?
I would assume so, yes.
Because we don't really know what all power he possesses other than so far he can't be killed.
Well, again, we barely got any explanation
Right.
of that until 30 minutes into number 3.
Yeah, they're dragging out that explanation.
And then you got the demon exposition dump at the finale
Yeah.
before the present opening.
Yeah, the flashbacks with Sienna's dad, especially that the scene where they're like handing off the photos and whatnot.
Yeah, they have the Freaky Friday scene where they're both holding an opposite end of the picture. And does he see her future, or does she see her future flash before her eyes? Or
I don't think she sees nearly as much because she's freaked out that Dad's not letting go of the picture he made for her.
That's true.
And he's the one, like,
he was seeing it. Yeah.
He's seeing it. He's turning red. He's kind of freaking out. And aside from whatever was on the other side of that door, which is not super clear, I mean, you could guess that when Sienna's dreaming towards the end of the film, that little demon scene with the nativity statues,
with the ironwork,
is potentially what's on the other side of that door. But she doesn't actually see that as a child. She's freaking out because Dad's freaking out.
Yeah. See, there's a lot in there that you could see different ways.
Yeah. And for those of you listening, I'm 100% guessing at all of this. Yeah. We're making assumptions here because even though they've given us a whole lot more background, they're not, aside from knowing that that's probably a demon, they're not specifically telling us, hey, this is what's going on.
Right.
They reference a whole lot of possibilities, and then
a lot of
Art does some stuff.
General area things.
That doesn't match up 100%, but kind of lines up with assumptions.
We don't know how much of the truth they're telling when they do say the shit they're saying, too, because the witch chick is changing her story about the skull over and over when she's torturing Sienna.
True.
Which that sequence was done pretty good. It was interesting to have a well-lit living room Christmas staging for that torture sequence.
Man, that's Midsummer style right there.
Yeah. And they did the one scene I'd heard about and read people, I try and skip it when I see it like on the internet, was the shower scene.
Yeah.
For me, it got hyped up a little bit too much, but it was still, James was making noise wiggling next to me.
The sexy scenes had leaked out. I definitely seen the front of that shower picture on the online before going to the movie, and it's like, oh wait,
I ignored all of that.
But it was a true homage to horror films of all time. That if you're having sex, you're about to be murdered.
Yeah,
and
it's bad
this was
juju.
no exception.
See what you get for premarital sex, kids.
I'd been reading a thread. I forget where it was, but somewhere online there was a thread talking about is Terrifier a misogynistic movie because it's always killing women, and I think they answered that in 3 by killing dude.
Yeah, you had.
I mean, he's killed several dudes, and there was a female helping kill this time.
I think they gave him the hacksaw scene in 1.
Yeah, the tank to tip. They did it with the chainsaw guy this time.
I think a chainsaw with the guy this time. Equal time, man.
Yeah, and this one with the chainsaw, he took the tits and the tank.
Took everything.
Yep.
That was up there. Which
meat and 2 veg.
I like the floppy penis that just kept getting hit by the side of the chainsaw.
Yeah, I couldn't be sure if that was a penis or just guts, viscera flying around. It was like I'm afraid to register which it actually was. I'm not sure which one I'd be more upset with, to be honest. But before we go too far, I want to acknowledge the B plot, which was the girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
the roommate's
the
girlfriend.
blogger or the podcaster,
yeah,
true crime podcaster. As we podcast about it,
please be on my podcast. Oh damn it, bitch! Get out of here.
Was she
really,
dating that guy
that was
just to get to his roommate?
Oh, 100%.
Clearly,
100%.
Yeah,
she knew what she was doing.
She was way too hot.
Yeah, even
she got all of her wishes.
She did. She got to meet everybody she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. See the look in his eye right before he snatched another
Which
life.
They did that little scene where she was on top of her boyfriend begging him to get the interview and talking about art while he did some fantastic mime work in the background.
Oh yeah, she's basically gushing over him, and he's like,
Just his head around the corner
stop.
peeking in.
No,
I
you're
loved
too kind.
I loved his head when it's a wide shot and it's just his head's in the doorway watching him, smiling. You want to fuck him, don't you? No, I don't want to fuck him. And he just goes, and then he turns around and walks off. And the next thing we know, we're in the shower. Yeah, she was.
Yep.
They made her just enough of a bitch that they had to kill her off.
She don't feel bad for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
really rude to both.
She was 0 to 100 with that every single time.
Yeah. And she
When-
did the Callie voice in the first scene. I don't know if it held as much later on, but she was leaning into that pretty hard in the
Mhm.
dorm scene in the beginning.
I loved how she excused herself from being rude by saying it was, all of her friends were killed 5 years ago. It's been 5 years. She should be over it by now.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something you get over.
I was going to say, when the douchebag boyfriend says, no, that was inappropriate, you've taken it too far, that's a bad sign.
That should tell you something.
And then he continued to go have sex with her, which is why he got murdered.
You got to do what you got to do.
I mean, look at him. He wasn't turning her down.
That's-
He had,
yeah.
I think he knew since day one he was getting used just to meet the little brother.
Well, he gave an arm and a leg to sleep with her. And some fingers.
Fingers first.
Testes.
Everything.
Yeah.
In the end, I guess. I really liked the leg rip. Because he cut through the leg, and then there was still that tendon.
And he's trying to get away, and basically between the two of them, they rip the rest of the leg off.
Yeah, Art grabs his ankle and pulls, and he's pulling away, and nope, over the shoulder with the leg. Then
I thought he was about to beat him up with the leg.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was prepared for that, and then it didn't happen. It's like, well, that would have been funny.
Were you prepared to hear me cackle?
That might have been one of the funny parts, yeah.
What were the rest of the? We had the kids at the shot. We didn't go over the bar. Daniel Roebuck's scene and the introduction. Well, I guess the only use of the liquid nitrogen. They just made it for that one sequence.
Yeah.
We really want to do
Besides
something
the
with liquid
rat.
nitrogen, so we're going to do it.
Well, he killed a rat to test it.
Yep.
Worked
What
like
a
a charm.
conscientious murderer to test his new weapon before taking it out in the field for the real thing. He killed the rat and then
Practical.
Yeah, killed the other.
He's on a schedule
Guy.
here. He doesn't have time for malfunctions, James. He's got places to be and people to kill.
And then he met Santa.
Yeah.
And they let
And
that play
did
out
it.
for a while.
And he hammed that up.
Yeah. Big time.
Jesus.
I love it went off the rails when he peed on him. And they did it a couple of times. I mean, Art the Clown, he was peeing on the bus
Yeah.
at that one scene.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the bathroom before he got the chainsaw out going to the urinal.
That was pretty funny.
It's like when he's not murdering people, he's in public just fucking with you. It's
Being
like
a nuisance.
just being
That
a
was-
nuisance,
that
making
was after he-
faces.
Spit the shot in Santa's face.
Yeah. That's when Santa tried to remove him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you buy somebody a drink and they spit it back in your face, they might not be friend material.
Usually got to pay extra for that.
Vegas.
Yep. Kidding.
But then you had him pull the gun out because they all throw him in the corner and like, get the fuck out of here. We're going to beat your ass. Goes into his bag. What do you get? Pulls out a gun, shoots the bartender in the neck. Like, okay. We're just going to escalate this to 10 immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it up to 11.
Shoots Clint Howard right in the face.
Yeah.
So
Snags him a Santa.
that was part of Art's collection of gear because he was driving the van from the demolition guys.
Yep.
And then he gets what did he get from Santa?
His beard for sure.
Definitely the beard. Yeah. But he was already wearing a Santa
They
suit.
took it from him.
No, he was still wearing Art the Clown.
That was from the Flash Forward.
when he showed up
Yeah.
in the bar.
That was the time.
So he took the
thing.
costume, and then after that he shows up at the mall ready to go.
And we had 5 kills at the mall all at once
At least
with
5.
the bomb.
Oh, yeah. That
Well,
was on the news.
I don't
They
know.
On the
said.
news.
Yeah.
I don't know how many kids were. Oh, it said 5 in the news.
5 dead, 6 in critical condition. So potentially 11, depending on when you have the conversation.
I think that's on the parents for letting their kids go mob Santa.
Well, the one who opened the bomb was just digging around in there, opening random presents. More to
Mhm.
him. Krampus is real.
That's how you end up on the naughty list.
Definitely on the naughty list.
I
Where
feel
we-
like Krampus and Art would be a good fight scene.
I'd watch that.
Just
They
like
probably just start-
Krampus and Santa,
Yeah,
which is not really. It's just
an old man
an old man dressed as Santa murdering people
killing
in the
people
mall.
at the mall.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
You guys didn't even see it coming.
I did not. I was very mad at myself.
And not only that, but William Shatner narrated that entire
Yeah.
thing for us.
What was the name of that one?
A Christmas Story?
That
Christmas
sounds right.
Horror
That
Story.
sounds right. Okay, there we go.
There it is.
It's like, I don't remember Ralphie in that one.
You'll
Somebody
shoot
did
your
get,
eye out.
Somebody did get their eye shot out though.
Uh,
Yeah, A Christmas Horror Story.
Yeah,
And it was kind of like Trick or Treat. It was
yeah. It was 3 stories.
3 or 4 stories all rolled into
Yeah.
one, and
Did pot on that one too.
oh yeah.
And so while Art's doing all this fun stuff, we have Sienna and her family doing really background exposition, and her, I guess, freaking out more. I guess they were releasing her because she wasn't having issues, and now Art's awake and she's out, so she's seeing more shit. And there was something in there with phone calls. No, it was the uncle who got the phone call from the brother that was really the demon. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, after he called him several times, and
Yep.
the reason he didn't answer the first few times is because he was being violently murdered.
Potentially.
Allegedly.
And
If
you
you're,
hear-
if you're correct on your theory.
And it's very, he's got a very robotic voice when he's talking. He's like, "Oh, where are you? I can't see you."
Yeah, and then they had the demon noise in the background, and it
And
kind
then
of
as they're hanging up, you get the static and the
Yep.
yeah.
that weird noise that they just
Mm-hmm.
kept when the demons were on screen. I also really liked the Santa torture, freezing his hands and legs.
I thought he was going to freeze his testicles and smash them.
Well, he threatened many times,
Nobody
Yeah.
freezes Santa's balls.
but he'll freeze his face and then smash it in and peel the skin off. And I like that they left the one CGI eye in.
Yeah.
Oh, but the carrot knows.
That's where I was going.
Ugh.
Well, at least he's not the girl. After
Yeah,
she
I-
got her face peeled off, she
I'm-
got booped.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the scenes I covered my eyes. The carrot in the nasal cavity.
He got it in there.
Yeah.
I think the most I saw anyone squirm in the theater, though, was when the witch was pleasuring herself
Yes.
with a shard of broken mirror.
Yeah, and blood
the,
raining
the,
down
the
the
one
floor.
that had
Yeah.
been in the bloody bathtub for
Yeah.
half a decade.
Looked a little rough
It's an understatement.
while Art tortured and peeled the guy's face off.
And I loved at the end how Art was like, naughty, naughty, at the
Tisk,
end.
tisk.
You look what you did.
No bloodgasms for you.
Just like that meme. Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
She did not lack of bravery. What else? Oh yeah, we also had the very, very clear planting of the sword in the house.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do the old college javelin bit. They're like, nope, that's the sword, and it's in that box right there.
We knew it from the beginning.
You all need to know this because
Yeah.
it's going to come back in a minute, and we need you to know what's about to happen.
Why are your hands dirty? Oh, I slipped on the ice and fell.
Then an immediate phone call. Did you go get it? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that wasn't suspicious at all.
Well, I didn't see it coming that the little girl knew it was there. If she knew it was there, I thought it was because she read the diary, but turns out that wasn't the case. They'd given us another old college javelin clue earlier that she likes to unwrap the presents and rewrap them
Yeah.
poorly. And-
Yeah.
and yeah,
Well,
that made it so funny in the scene where, is
Did you
this your
wrap
present?
this?
Did you wrap this yourself?
So
Looks like shit.
Shit.
yeah. So she read the entire diary, and Sienna tries to, oh no, sometimes I just have dreams and it helps if I write them down, and tries to convince her that her chopping off Art's head was not true and just a dream or whatever. And so when she goes in and finds the finds the sword in the package because she, again, oh no, it's just a gift I bought for you. No peeking.
Yeah.
Well, I
That
thought
whole thing, because
when they
she's a little shit, and so she still went in and checked it. She found the sword, and she was like, okay. I don't think that diary was that inaccurate.
Well, I thought when they begin setting up for the fact that they're going to open the present, I thought, wait, are they about to end Art the Clown with, the magic sword? Is that what we're about to go see? Is this the end of the trilogy? I was kind of excited if that was going to be the case or not, but then
Not with Terrifier
here,
4
open the
greenlit.
present with your own hands, and then here comes the hammer, like right down onto her tied down
Yeah.
wrists or the back of her hands,
Yeah.
and the front of her, the back of her hands, and there was no way her hands were functional after that scene.
And then she fought for 10 minutes.
Yeah, holding a sword,
Yeah.
gripping. She had grip strength to hold a sword.
Well, I mean, her hands from the sword cut when she's holding on to the sword there, you see her hands heal afterwards. So was there
Magic sword.
because her
dad said the sword cannot hurt you
right?
in the
So-
flashback.
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
But you're right.
So I don't know how far that correlates to her strength or regenerative powers, but the sword itself, which
Yeah.
what a horrible object to pick up to pull someone out of a gaping hole to hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that again, the most mundane injuries, the ones that make me squirm the most, that was one of them. Holding a blade like that, just like, yeah.
Gushing blood.
that's a
Yeah.
Club Dread move right there.
Yep. Did we miss any kills? I'm trying to remember.
Well,
I mean, we didn't go into the mom.
yeah, we didn't talk about mom and dad, Gabby's mom and dad, explicitly,
And the alleged brother.
Yes.
but Gabby's dad ended up on the Christmas tree.
Well,
His head was.
Yeah.
The rest of him was crucified on the wall.
His intestines were.
Ho ho ho, which she got a face full.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, that was gross.
That felt like a Ash move,
Yeah,
Evil Dead style.
and then she gnawed through the intestine.
Well, he was
As
choking
one
her
does.
with them. They were still really full.
Ugh. Of what?
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of stuff came out of those.
He was constipated.
Oh.
And I thought he was going to start slapping her with them like nunchucks, but he just threw them at her.
He whipped her a couple times.
Yeah, he did
with it.
whip her with it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I like that. I want to know how much of that David Howard Thornton just was like, let me just try a few things.
All right,
if you're
guys, just go with it. I got this.
Yeah, if you're standing there holding the things, that they handed them to you as props, no matter what, you're probably like, oh, let's just try one time. It's like,
Yeah.
So as crazy as he went with, like, hitting her with the intestines and some of the other stuff, I want to know how many takes some of these shots took to get it right and not have somebody laughing and just the
Yeah.
absurdity.
Of how far they push it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd love to see some outtakes. That'd be fun.
I bet there'll be some out there.
There's got to be, because, like, even though it's serious, quote, sort of, like, I feel like I would struggle, even if I know I'm supposed to be getting murdered and my fingers are getting bit off and
Oh, yeah.
legs smashed in half. Like, if I catch Art out of the corner of my eye doing one of his ridiculous pantomimes, like, all right, guys, cut. We're going to have to reshoot
Yep.
this.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Agreed. What was the other one? I just saw they posted a video of the special effects for the mom in the beginning's arm getting chopped off, and they made a full prosthetic arm that went over her arm. So that's why they did the wide shot, and you could see it, so that it tucked her arm back, and they just had the stump coming out of her shoulder. So it looked really, because it looked really good in the movie.
Yeah.
And I know if I hadn't seen that, I would have been like, how did they do that one? So I'm glad I got to see that.
Just like the Black Knight from Monty Python.
Exactly the same thing. And if you're into this kind of stuff, go check out. They post a lot of their special effects and how Damien does them. I mean, that's one of his big things. I was talking to, I think it was Brad, telling him in 2, they did that scene in the bedroom where it's the girl that gets chopped to pieces and he puts her in the bed.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I guess they filmed most of it.
And he's like playing with her while she's still half alive or
That
whatever.
scene, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So they filmed a lot of that, and then COVID hit, and they had to shut down. So they had to go back and refilm it because they didn't finish.
Yeah.
But because of COVID, he built that whole sequence out and made it into like a soundstage and cut holes in the back of the bed. So he was able to put a lot more time into it to make that prosthetic work.
They were stuck in that one
That's
scene
right.
for all that time.
So that body in the bed it's the prosthetic dummy, and then there's like people behind the bed reaching through, making it look like it's breathing and moving the pieces. Like, damn, that
makes sense. I
they
feel like
went
we
to
talked about
lengths
that.
on that one.
Yeah.
And they went to lengths on some of these with.
They did a good job with the
It looked good.
prosthetics and the realistic effects.
Tom Savini's making a cameo. You better bring your A game.
Oh, yeah. Don't want to disappoint Tom.
I was very pleased with the way it looked.
I saw him pop up on screen. I was like, it's him.
I heard you. What was the other one?
Just waiting on fingers to come over the shoulders.
Art. He was on screen a lot in this movie, but there were certain little things he always pulled out that I know James and I were laughing. I couldn't hear other people in the theater were laughing because I'm loud. But
Not as much as we were, but
probably not. I got a lot of weird looks.
yeah.
When Art would walk by after Sierra was tied down, he'd slap her in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And it was a running gag. That got me 2-3 times. I don't know how many times I did it, but I was surprised because I think James was surprised that he laughed.
Yeah.
Well, he was definitely going over the top with that whole sequence of walking around and doing everything that was going on during that torture with the Sienna and her aunt in their chairs.
Well, and he also wasn't running the show. The witch was kind of running the place.
Well, again, I think that was his voice.
But
I think there was one entity in the room.
It gave the art figure kind of take a back step to her.
He was the ancillary character in that scene for a little while.
So when he would do things like that and act out, it played bigger.
I feel like he interacted more visually with the victims this time.
I thought so too.
In just all his, I mean, it even starts off with the husband and wife in that first scene. He's basically like taunting her for being upset that he just murdered her husband.
The laughing and then the boo-hoo face.
Yeah, laughing, boo-hoo, oh.
Which he did that to everyone when they started screaming and crying. He just,
yeah,
oh, boo-hoo.
I just, and again, probably should have watched 1 and 2 right before we went to go see 3.
Yeah.
Or at least recently. But I don't feel like he did that nearly as much in the others. I mean, he was very animated when he was interacting, like at, the pizza place or the diner or whatever.
Right.
At the
We had more extended sequences of people running from him than him in the first 2.
Yeah.
Is how I remember it.
because he didn't kill everybody he interacted with in the first couple.
No.
And even here, the only 2, well, he killed a whole bunch of people in the mall. The likelihood that he killed the lady on the bus and the bus driver is relatively high.
And we know he killed the clown guy on the bus because he was wearing his costume
Yeah.
later on.
Oh, in the subway.
Or the subway, yeah. Sorry.
But he just kind of let it slide with a couple people in the first 2. The 2 girls in the bar that were hitting on Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
He let them go because he was so enamored with
Because he
Santa.
pushed his way through them, knocking them down to get
Yeah.
to Santa Claus. Yeah, that bar sequence
It's Santa.
was fun. Go watch this movie if you like.
It was great.
If you don't like this stuff, do not watch this movie because it starts off. Fuck. It goes.
Bold statement.
Out of the podcast group that we usually ask, it was just the 3 of us that were wanting to go to see this movie.
Nobody else. We got a couple hard passes.
Well,
Shame on you, Cameron.
yeah, the reputation that we were getting beforehand. I don't know that it was as bad as the reputation said it was going to be, because a lot of the gore is over the top gore, which I think we all agree is it's not believable in any real sense, and that makes it easier to watch. It's it's not real.
Yeah, it's so over the top, and that's what makes it funny too.
Yeah, so that's why the hands on the sword bother me more than
Right.
the chainsaw up the butt crack. It's like, come on.
The practical pain that you can correlate with, you can't correlate with getting your leg cut off.
There's no way you can't relate to that the chainsaw stuff.
I felt that
for
first
the most
axe in the
part.
stomach.
Maybe the axe,
Yeah.
but
I felt it at the end of the movie, just sitting in those little chairs.
yeah, I'm surprised at some of the reactions I'd heard that people had to the movie. That I thought, well, maybe that'll be a problem, and then no, it really wasn't.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of faces covered, but I didn't see anybody walk out.
Well, if nobody covered their eyes, was it even a horror movie?
I
mean,
yeah, that's good. Like I said, the girl in front of me, I don't think she's all half the film. She had her face buried in her boyfriend or whoever was with her most of the time.
I just point out that doesn't mean she didn't like it.
So,
she showed up. She wanted to be in that state.
She was hitting him on the shoulder on the way out. I don't know if she was glad that she attended.
Oh.
I don't think she knew what she was in for on this one.
Well, that was the other question. So, like, to your point, James, I watch these kind of movies and make you guys watch them, as opposed to we watch these kind of movies. If you're not watching this kind of stuff, how does that look to you? Like, if I had Sally sit down and watch one of those scenes, I don't think she'd make it through it.
No.
But she doesn't watch horror and the body shit that we watch and laugh at.
Yeah.
And then watch again to see how they did it and laugh at.
So some of the like the thing I sent you guys in the last week or over the weekend or whatever, where it got like a partial ban in France, I think it was.
Yeah.
To where even with a parent, you had to be 18 to go in and see this film. I know it really blew up here, but did it get the same reaction in some of the other countries that it premiered at?
I think it's famous worldwide now.
Okay. But like initially, if it got all this praise, but nobody watched the first one or the second one, do you really know what you're getting into if this is not your style of film? Like you said, like we watch stuff like this all the time, Citizen Toxie and the Toxic Avenger and ridiculous things like that, to where some of the violence is so over the top that it's you don't associate it the same way.
I have an eyeball with the optic nerve still connected sitting on my desk in front of me. That stuff doesn't bother us as much as some people.
Well, I wonder, was there anything worse in 3? Was there any scene that was worse than something you'd seen in 1? I think 1 could, if you've watched any one of them, you could equally predict the level of gore that you're going to see in another one. It's been pretty consistent.
It's hard to beat that first one with the taint to tip.
They tried
because
they did the sequel to it this time.
The chainsaw and ripping the guy up was taking it to the next level, I guess, as far as tools. But there's something about having to hand saw with a hacksaw through someone's body, and she was strung up naked, so she was like exposed. You had that extra level of indecency of what he was doing to her. This guy was naked, but he was just banging his girlfriend in the bathroom. It wasn't like he stripped him of his...
Yeah, you saw butt. That was it.
Yeah.
Allegedly, maybe some dong.
Now, do I want a chainsaw?
Or intestines. Not sure.
Driven through my pelvis? Absolutely not.
No.
But that first one, that was...
The rusty hacksaw?
It was done so well.
Yeah.
It resonates. I believe, to quote Alan... I'm glad I got to see that with him today.
Disappointed I missed that.
We'll put it back on. Don't worry.
Next time you get over,
can't.
no matter what movie we're gonna watch, just put on Terrifier.
That'll be queued up, ready to go. That one scene, so we'll get it. We'll get it on audio.
I support it.
All right. Anything else for Terrifier 3?
It's great. Go check it out.
Soundbite, perfect. Yes, go watch this movie. It's number 1 in America. How is
I don't know, but I like it.
It's the number 1 clown film in America too, beating out the Joker right now, which is insane. A tiny horror movie destroying DC Joker.
Well, based on James's comments about it after
That's a whole nother
last
pod.
Friday, yeah,
different genre.
Very.
yeah, this wasn't really a musical.
Well, we don't know what was going on outside Art's head.
We did get the Clown Cafe song and some sweet Ice Nine Kills
Yes,
tunes,
which the new video is at the end of the credits on this one.
and it's spectacular.
Or if your name's
Taylor
Taylor,
didn't like it. Whatever.
it's because he's in the bathroom and all he smells is his own shit.
That's fair.
It's unnecessarily mean. Suck it, Taylor. All right. Terrifier 3, go see what's in theaters. We're going to make everybody watch it and post their noises.
Yep.
I'm going to watch it again with Sally and Meryl. Meryl wants to be Art the Clown for Halloween. Oh, my God, that'd be awesome. All right, I got to go make a clown suit.
Really good.
Charlie?